Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. You are watching HumSub.TV and I am Muneeb Hamid with the news in English. Plans on anvil to broaden tax base, says Prime Minister Shahid Khaqan Abbasi. Pakistan plans to use its national identity database to build profiles of potential taxpayers in a renewed bid to broaden its tax base, Prime Minister Shahid Khaqan Abbasi said in an interview. He said the plan seeks to plug leakages, encourage correct property valuation, lower individual tax rates and offer an amnesty program. Lenders, including the International Monetary Fund, have repeatedly shown concern over Pakistan's tax to GDP ratio of about 12%, which is amongst the lowest globally. The report said in the past, it said attempts to force people to pay taxes have been met with resistance and strikes by businesses, while various amnesty plans announced, including one 8 months ago, failed to boost revenues. Now PM Abbasi wants officials to build taxpayer profiles through the National Database and Registration Authority, the report added. Judges do respond publicly to criticism, Supreme Court. In an apparent reaction to unrelenting criticism against the judiciary by former Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif, the Supreme Court on Wednesday said judges could respond publicly to criticism in the same vein as their critics. While referring to a recent trend emerging from an English court judgment, Chief Justice Mia Saqib Nisar justified public response by judges to criticism. The latest trend from the English Code of Law is that judges do respond publicly to criticism like this because judges cannot address public meetings, observed Chief Justice Nisar while hearing a three-judge bench of the Apex Court hearing a set of 13 petitions challenging the Elections Act 2017. He recalled that the English court judgment was referred to him by Justice Ijazul Ahsan, who then explained that a robust institutional response should come up to help remove any misconceptions. Foreign Office condemns missile attack on Saudi city. Pakistan on Wednesday condemned a foil Houthi missile attack targeting a Saudi city and warned that repeated attacks by the Yemeni militia pose a threat to the holy places and the security of the kingdom. We are deeply concerned over media reports of a missile attack by the Houthi militia towards Khamis Mushat on February 5, 2018, a Foreign Office statement said. Khamis Mushat is located in southwest of Saudi Arabia, some 900 kilometers from the capital Riyadh. The timely interception by the Saudi air defense saved the civilian populated city from grave consequences. Such attacks targeting the unarmed civilian population are a violation of international law and condemnable, it added. The Houthis launched several missile attacks targeting Saudi cities, but most of them were intercepted before they could hit the target. President of Azhar, Jammu and Kashmir, Sardar Masood Khan, asks United Nations to act on Kashmir issue. President of Azhar, Jammu and Kashmir, Sardar Masood Khan, on Wednesday urged United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres to stop artificially balancing between Pakistan and India and act on Kashmir issue. We need to talk to the UN Secretary General and ask him not to artificially balance his statements between Pakistan and India and let him categorically offer his good offices for resolution of Kashmir dispute. President Khan said at a seminar titled Kashmir Day Solidarity with the People of Jammu and Kashmir. Mr. Khan said that the Secretary General should invoke mediation or arbitration under Chapter 4 of the UN Charter that pertain to peaceful settlement of disputes that could lead to war. He, Secretary General, could put together a group of eminent persons or leading nations so that there could be some sort of engagement, he maintained. Mr. Khan said he, in a way, saw UN complicity in human rights violations in occupied Kashmir. The President said it was wrong to characterize Indian atrocities in occupied Kashmir as just human rights violations and insisted that Indian forces were committing crimes against humanity in the valley. Justice Yawar Ali takes oath for 46th Chief Justice of the Lahore High Court. Justice Muhammad Yawar Ali on Wednesday took oath as 46th Chief Justice of the Lahore High Court at a ceremony held at Governor House. Governor Rafiq Rajwana administered oath to the new Chief Justice. Chief Minister Shehbaz Sharif, Punjab Assembly Speaker Rana Iqbal, High Court judges, provincial ministers, office bearers of the Pakistan Bar Council, Lahore High Court Bar Association and Lahore Bar Association provincial and federal law officers attended the ceremony. Later on arrival at the LHC, a guard of honor was presented to the Chief Justice by a smartly dressed police contingent. Judges and court officials welcomed and congratulated the Chief Justice for holding the office. Chief Justice Muhammad Yawar Ali was elevated to the bench as additional judge of the High Court on February 19, 2010. He will retire on October 22, 2018. Before elevation to the bench, he had served as Deputy Attorney General for Pakistan and the Additional Advocate General for Punjab. Securities and Exchange Commission of Pakistan launches online company registration. Securities and Exchange Commission of Pakistan has launched a single online procedure under which a company can now be registered within 4 hours in one go. In Doing Business Report 2018 of the World Bank, the time period for starting a business in Pakistan required 17.5 days. The SECP and Board of Investment works in close collaboration to introduce reforms in making business incorporation earlier in the context of starting a business, indicator of the Doing Business Report. Considering the world's best practices from company registration, the single online procedure has been a sought-after reform area. The SECP has combined the procedure for companies' name reservation and its incorporation. This has helped the new startups to register companies in a single step through e-services. The Board of Investment said the total time to register a company is now 4 hours, whereas the requirements are submission of name availability within 3 options, incorporation of application with model memorandum of association and articles of association. United States wants low-yield nukes to prod Russia to respect nuclear pacts, Mattis. The U.S. plans to deploy new low-yield nuclear weapons is aimed at convincing Russia to respect existing agreements on limiting the weapons, Secretary of Defense James Mattis said. Mattis told a hearing in Congress that Moscow is violating the Intermediate Nuclear Forces Treaty and Washington wants to pressure it to get back online. As you know, we have an ongoing issue with Russia's violation of the INF. I want to make certain that our negotiators have something to negotiate with, that we want Russia back in compliance, he told the House Armed Services Committee. We are going to stay inside the INF compliant requirements, but we are going to do research and development of an alternative weapon that should put Russia in a position to see the value of returning to being INF compliant, he said. For several months, Washington has accused Russia of developing a new intermediate-range ground-launched cruise missile that violates the treaty signed by Ronald Reagan and Mikhail Gorbachev and implemented in 1988. United States Vice President Mike Pence announces toughest U.S. sanctions on North Korea. Washington will soon unveil its toughest sanctions ever on North Korea, U.S. Vice President Mike Pence said Wednesday, adding that the Pyeongchang regime would not be allowed to hijack the upcoming Olympics. Speaking in Japan before attending the opening ceremony of the Winter Games in South Korea, Pence pledged that Washington would intensify its maximum pressure campaign on the North. Working with Tokyo, I am announcing today that the United States will soon unveil the toughest and most aggressive round of economic sanctions on North Korea ever, he said. Without giving further details, Pence's 3-day visit to Japan came as Washington seeks to bolster ties with its allies in the region and maintain pressure on the regime in Pyeongchang. Despite a recent pause on the peninsula, all options are on the table, and the U.S. has deployed some of our most advanced military assets to Japan and the wider region to protect our homeland and our allies, and we will continue to, Pence vowed. United States Senate's bipartisan spending hike budget is monstrosity. U.S. budget hawks have labeled a plan to hike defense and domestic spending by hundreds of billions of dollars as a debt ballooning monstrosity. Republican Senate leader Mitch McConnell and Democratic counterpart Chuck Schumer agreed the 2-year pact. The bill is expected to clear the Senate comfortably but face opposition in the House of Representatives. It comes on the eve of a deadline to avert another government shutdown. Congress has to reach a deal before government funding runs out at midnight on Thursday, when 1 month's spending bill is set to expire. Both Democrats and Republicans in the House of Representatives have voiced disapproval of the bipartisan council tax hikes planned across England. Nearly all local authorities in England are set to raise council tax and charges amid concerns of their financial stability, a survey suggests. Council tax is set to rise in 95% of councils, while 93% will hike charges, according to the 2018 State of Local Government Finance Research. The planned increase comes as 80% of councils fear for their balance sheets. Council tax can rise by 3% this year, in line with inflation before a referendum is triggered. An additional precept can also be levied for funds to cover social care costs. Local authorities also oversee charges of areas including waste disposal, parking, burial cremation, and planning. 93% of the respondents to the survey indicated new or increased charges in order to make ends meet. 7 injured in Australia hot air balloon crash. 7 people were taken to hospital Thursday with back injuries and fractures after a hot air balloon crashed during a dawn tour in Australia, officials said. 7 people have been treated and transported to hospital by ambulance Victoria paramedics after a hot air balloon landed heavily in Dixon's Creek this morning, ambulance's officials said. And now the sports news. Yunus lauds holding cricket events at school level. Former Pakistan captain Yunus Khan appreciated the staging of ongoing 5th edition of the Bilal Bhatti Inter-School Collegiate T20 cricket tournament. The batting legend, who is Pakistan's only player to amass over 10,000 test runs before retiring last year, was the chief guest during the match between DHA College and Beacon House, PECHS, at the Vital 5 ground on Tuesday. Yunus observed such tournaments would help in promoting at the grassroots level. He lauded chief organizer Shahid Nawab for efforts in organizing the event regularly. And now the weather update for the next 24 hours. Mainly cold and dry weather with partly cloudy weather is expected in most parts of the country. And that is the end of the news. For more news and updates, keep watching HumSub.TV. Please subscribe to HumSub.TV and hit the notification icon on the screen to get the latest updates of our channel. Thank you for watching HumSub.TV.